Moving on to the WNBA, where this Sunday's game between Caitlyn Clark's Indiana Fever and Angel Reese's Chicago Sky is expected to break records. Reese finished with 16 points and season-high 18 rebounds for the Sky, who snapped a 4-game losing streak, by the way.
Did you happen to catch the Chicago Sky game? It was a missed layup by Angel Reese. Concurrently, Caitlyn Clark is treating buzzer beaters as if they were insignificant. The difficulty is increasing, and Reese can sense it. Now we get to the meat of the matter. Is everyone being fair in their criticism? What's happening? Let's discuss it. Not a single shot was missed. The intensity of Reese's rivalry is testing her mettle. What could be more peculiar? The opposing team isn't Reese's only opponent whenever she hits the court. With Clark's shadow, she's having a blast.
Ticket prices to see the rivals play are the most expensive for a WNBA game ever, according to TickPick. The cheapest seat to see the game cost around $250, with the most expensive ticket on sale for more than $9,000.
Put yourself in the shoes of Angel Reese. Your actions are constantly being compared to those of Caitlyn Clark. You start to feel like the other team is winning with every missed shot. I can't handle that level of pressure. Not to mention that it's not a single game. It completely alters Reese's WNBA future. However, the truth is that I have one final request before we continue. Please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like if you enjoyed it. We greatly appreciate it when more people watch without subscribing, even though it's free for you. Has the subscribe button been clicked by you? Wonderful. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. We should rewatch the video. You don't see anything like what's going on behind the curtain. Reese was quite famous, if you recall. She was barely holding on after Clark took over. Now, here's the rub. Reese might finally snap because of Clark's success. Let us reminisce about the fantastic season that Caitlyn Clark had. She not only sets new records, but shatter old ones as well. Clark stands out as the top performer with 321 assists. Many have compared her to Steph Curry of women's basketball, and they're not far off. Aside from scoring herself, she's creating a plethora of scoring opportunities for her teammates.
After the Fever's victory over the Mystics last Wednesday, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research, Clark is the first rookie in WNBA history to have 40 points, 15 rebounds. The Fever have now won 3 in a row. But it's also acknowledgement that Caitlyn Clark is the golden goose. She's the cash cow.
Imagine this. Clark records 18 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in a single game. When that kind of play occurs, both the fans and the experts will be very impressed. More significant than the figures is the ease with which Clark does it. Now let's turn the tables and examine Angel Reese. Reese is struggling to maintain pace with Clark's burgeoning stardom. Do you remember the game there with the Chicago Sky? It would have been the game-winning layup had Reese made it. However, there is more than just one game. Misses have been piling up for her in high-pressure scenarios.
Each week, I picked Stephen A's WNBA Player of the Week. But this week, I'm not picking just one player. I'm picking the top 2 WNBA record-setting rookies.
Here you can see 2 free throws were missed by Reese towards the end of a tight game versus the Dallas Wings. You failed to hit those targets? Her team was defeated in the game. In these kinds of situations, people are starting to question whether Reese can manage the heat. The opposing team isn't Reese's only opponent whenever she hits the court. With Clark's shadow, she's having a blast. Is the strain easy to imagine? As Reese walks, it's as if Clark's best moments are looped endlessly. Reese's body language during interviews makes it crystal clear. The mention of Clark's name causes a slump in posture and a closing of the eyes. According to her, I don't really care what everyone else thinks, which is her attempt at avoiding the subject. I'm who I am, and all I want to do is get better every day for my teammates. Her deeds, however, reveal more than her words. Clark does great when things get tough, but Reese seems to be breaking down.
This week, Reese recorded her 7th consecutive double-double to set a WNBA rookie record Thursday as the Chicago Sky eased past the Dallas Wings.
Analysts are beginning to wonder if she has what it takes to do well when it matters the most. It's not just about skill anymore. You also need to be mentally tough. The comparisons between Clark and Reese all the time. They're not just making Reese's game worse, they're making her think. When the stress is too high, what do you think happens? Strange things happen to people. Imagine waking up one day to find that your favorite player is no longer online. Not even a tweet or an Instagram post. That's precisely what took place with Angel Reese. But in this day and age of social media, why would a rising star choose to disappear? You might be surprised by the answer. Angel Reese didn't just stop using social media. She deleted all of her accounts. We're going to delete all of your accounts. Is Instagram gone? Twitter, go away. Snapchat, not to be found anywhere. It's like she took down everything she had online and started over. The best part is that Reese didn't do this to get attention. She did it to get away. Too many people were comparing her to Caitlyn Clark all the time. It was all about Clark. Every post, comment, and like. For Reese, getting off the computer for good was the way out. It's just social media. What's the big deal? You may be asking yourself, it's not that easy for athletes like Reese though. Social media isn't just a place to share selfies. It's a battleground where people are judged and compared for everything they do. But for Reese, that made him think of Clark every time. Take a look. Fans would leave comments on every post Reese made about a game asking about Clark's play. Yeah, but did you see what Clark did? Was asked after every highlight reel. It would drive any person crazy, let alone a professional athlete who is always being watched. Now though, things get really interesting. This move away from social media isn't just hurting Reese's online presence, it's also hurting her game. Reese is trying to concentrate on what's important, how well she does on the court without the constant chatter of social media. Does it work though? The story being told by the media is changing, and it's not good for Reese. Some sports commentators are beginning to doubt her ability to do well when things get tough. An honest and well-known analyst named Doris Burke said, "Clark just keeps showing up when it matters most, while Reese looks more and more frustrated with each game. That hurts." It's not just Burke either. Reese is going from being called a rising star to a choker in clutch moments. Every missed shot and every turnover is being closely looked at. In fact, Reese can't even defend herself or tell her side of the story without these sites. The thing is though, this social media ban might be just what Reese needs. She might finally be able to focus on her game now that she doesn't have to deal with online comparisons all the time. Or it could completely backfire, cutting her off from her fans and making it impossible for her to control her own story. When Reese and Clark play each other again, it won't just be a game, it will be a moment that changes their careers. If Reese doesn't post anything on social media, will that give her the upper hand, or has Clark's momentum become unstoppable? They are no longer the only ones in this rivalry. It's changing the way women play basketball. Let's talk about these games that are coming up. They're not just games, they're changing the whole WNBA. Everyone is interested in Reese and Clark and wants to know who will win. The whole league can feel the shockwaves from seeing these two titans fight. Take a look. You can't just score points or pass the ball when these two are on the court. The goal is to show who is the best. And that stress, it's very strong. Clark has been taking it all in stride, staying calm and collected even when things get tough. But what about Reese? Everyone can see that she's been having a hard time. What's really crazy, the rivalry between these teams could be the best thing to ever happen to women's basketball. Why? Since someone is looking at you, they are chatting, they are picking a side. It's like a sports movie coming to life right in front of us. And all that attention, the WNBA wins big. The real question though is how Reese and Clark will deal with all this stress going forward. Clark is feeling great right now, but can she keep it up? Also, Reese needs to make a decision. Will she let this rivalry break her, or will she use it to get back on track? Imagine that all of Reese's criticism makes her come back stronger than ever. Now, every game between these two teams is a must-see on TV. Ladies basketball could reach a whole new level if things like that happen. It's not just the games though, it has to do with growth. It's possible for both Reese and Clark to get better by competing with each other. For Reese, it's about getting tough mentally and learning how to do well when things get tough. What about Clark? Even when she's winning, she needs to stay hungry and keep going. It gets even stranger than that. The rivalry between these two teams could start a whole new era in women's basketball. There will be more viewers, fans, and chances for everyone in the league. The future of the WNBA seems to rest on the shoulders of Reese and Clark. That being said, it's no longer just about who wins or loses. It has to do with how they play. Will their rivalry break them up, or will they use it to push each other to greater heights? That's what everyone really wants to know. Let us go over this crazy ride that Reese and Clark had. No longer is it just basketball, it's changing the whole WNBA. But here's the thing, why is there so much stress? It's not just about getting the most points, it's about who can stand the heat without breaking. Take a look. Clark is doing great. He makes those important shots like it's nothing. But what about Reese? You can tell she's having a hard time by the way she moves. It's no longer just about talent. It's about being tough mentally. Do you know what Doris Burke said? Clark just keeps showing up when it matters most, while Reese is looking more and more frustrated with each game. It's harsh, but that's the truth. It doesn't matter who scores more points or gets more assists in the end. It's about who has the power to make this pressure work, and both Reese and Clark are still trying to figure that out.